This young man was being chased by a bear. He ran away in fear, but it kept chasing him. While panicking, he saw a big pile of firewood and crept into it. But the bear didn't seem to give up. It started pushing the pile. It even climbed on the pile and was about to pull the man's arm out. When he was in danger, a wolf appeared, facing a bear which was 10 times bigger than him. The wolf wasn't any afraid. He bared his teeth and growled. In the end, the bear had to leave. The wolf looked at the boy that he had just rescued, and then turned around. It turned out to be half dog and half wolf, raised by the Native American and named White Fang. When he was a puppy, his mother was killed by the hunters. Even though the wolf blood ran in his veins, the wolf pack didn't accept him. As a result, White Fang had to fend for himself from very young age, and eventually fell into a hunter's trap. He then was found by the Native Americans and brought to their tribe, and he was gradually tamed by them. After growing up, White Fang was always loyal and protected his saviors. He loved to be alone, despite having to guard for his owners. The wolf blood inside made him want to seek freedom. As for Jack, he came to the town to look for his deceased father's mining claim. The next day, he gave White Fang a piece of dried meat to thank him for saving his life. After that, Jack and his uncle Alex left the town, White Fang standing on the cliff watching them leave. One day, his owner took him downtown, and they encountered 3 bad guys who used dog to make money. Right at the moment they saw White Fang, they liked him very much. So they sent one of their dogs to fight with White Fang. Because White Fang had wolf blood, he could easily knock that dog down, which made the 3 guys more excited. They were determined to have White Fang. After that, they threatened the owner that ownership of a wild animal was considered illegal. In the end, White Fang fell into the hands of them. After having him, they trained White Fang to be vicious. In order to enter him into illegal dogfights, White Fang's opponents were all fierce dogs that would never let go of him once they were able to bite him. In the dogfights, White Fang defeated every of his opponents. Thanks to him, those 3 bastards could earn a lot of money. But they didn't treat him well. They also starved him for days. White Fang was mistreated by the dogfighters, and at the same time, he had to fight with other dogs. Therefore, he was exhausted. White Fang eventually met his match in a brutal fight against a bulldog. Poor White Fang was so exhausted that he couldn't fight back the dog. That dog bit him in the neck. Fortunately, Jack and his uncles arrived at the town in the nick of time. Jack used a stick to open that bulldog's mouth, and was able to save White Fang. Meanwhile, someone said that the police were coming. The dogfight became messy. Jack then bandaged White Fang's wound. In order to take care of him, Jack brought him to his cabin near the gold mine. After a few days, White Fang recovered from the wound. But because of being severely mistreated, he no longer trusted human, and became extremely vicious. When Jack intended to remove the chain on White Fang's neck, he was bitten. Jack understood that White Fang was once abused. That's the reason why he changed that much. Jack decided to patiently cure for him. With lots of love and time, Jack's attempts to tame White Fang eventually succeeded. Both of them had once saved each other's life. After a long time, they became close friends. White Fang also helped Jack with the gold mine. He helped bringing the rock out. One day, the mine suddenly collapsed. White Fang hurriedly dug the mine to rescue Jack, who was stuck inside. In the end, with the help of his uncle and White Fang, Jack managed to get out. But at this time, the uncle Alex found gold powder in White Fang's feet. They immediately went into the mine to check. Their dream finally came true. They were able to find gold. One morning, Jack traveled to the town to claim proper ownership to the gold. But it was also there that Luke, one of the 3 dogfighters, saw White Fang and Jack. Looking at the one who hurt him, White Fang growled. Luke left immediately to tell the other 2 guys about who he had met and Jack's gold. Seeking retaliation and planning to steal the gold, the 3 guys followed Jack to the cabin. Firstly, they blocked the chimney and opened fire on the cabin. But Alex said that he didn't scare of them. The 3 guys got angry and decided to use another way to attack them. They set the cabin on fire. Jack and Alex immediately put the fire out. Looking at the burning house, the 3 intended to attack. One guy kicked in the door, but was knocked out by White Fang. He also accidentally discharged his gun and wounded Luke. Facing the people who had abused him again, White Fang bared his teeth. With White Fang's help, Jack and his uncle finally could defeat the bad guys. They tied them up and sent them to the police. At this time, Jack and his uncle had earned enough money, and was about to return to the city. Alex let Jack know that city life had no place for a wolf, and Jack had to set free to White Fang in the wild. Jack had no other choice than bring White Fang to an empty plot. Jack removed the chain on his neck, kissed him and told him to leave. But White Fang didn't leave. He just stood there and didn't know the reason. Jack had to hold back terror, and picked up a rock to make him leave. But White Fang was still there. In the end, Jack had to pick up a branch and pretended to hit White Fang. White Fang looked at the branch and recalled the old days when he was abused. Therefore, he turned around and went into the woods. As he was boarding the ship back to the city, Jack realized that his rightful place was this place. He couldn't stop thinking about White Fang. In the end, he gave up the city life and decided to stay here. He wanted to live here with White Fang. Jack went back to the burnt cabin. Then he found White Fang standing from afar. They happily rushed towards each other, a young man and a wolf. They both had rescued each other, and from then on, they would live a happy life together.